Hello and welcome to another edition of Know Your Schools on WISD TV. My name is Dale Caffey. My special guest on this edition of Know Your Schools is Johnny Tusa, the legend of Waco ISD. And now in your third year of being the athletic director. And how's it been? How's it been going?
Well, it's gone really fast, Dale. To be honest, things happen at a rapid pace when you're involved in the sporting world, and it's just really been a pretty smooth ride. Lots of action and lots of enjoyment for a lot of people.
Now, I referred to you as the legend a moment ago because you did spend a number of years as a coach in Waco ISD. You ever reminisce of the good old days at Jefferson Moore High School in Waco High?
Oh, we reminisce all the time, Dale, and we've gotten better as I've gotten older. But the beauty of it is that many of the people that I met in the other role are still a part of my life through the athletic directorship, not only here in town but throughout the state.
You went into retirement for a very short time. Of course, you never were truly retired. You work with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, I believe, but you were soon called back into action here at Waco ISD. What was the draw to come back to be the AD?
Well, actually, I retired in 2009 from the field and went to work with Grant Taft at the American Football Coaches Association, the AFCA, and spent 4 years there as the high school liaison. And that was a part-time job for me. That's a nonprofit organization. It was invaluable to me, Dale, because I got to travel the country to see what goes on in high schools in the rest of the country, and we even made a few international trips over to Europe to run some camps. So it was quite an eye-opener for me, quite an education. And then I got the call from Dr. Kane that athletic director's job was open sometime, I think, in May prior to the summer of 2013, and it was an interim basis deal, and prayed about it and talked about it and thought I'd give it a shot. And here I am.
And so far, year number 3, here we come. And it's been a fun ride because it's always fun when the teams are successful. And we had a pretty good year last year in terms of the sports, especially those, well, in the wintertime and in the spring we were very strong, and looking to get stronger this year in football, obviously. But let's look at last year and some of the accomplishments. It all started with a good volleyball team here at University High School.
Yeah, for the first time in a long time, the University Trojanette volleyball team under the guidance of Jeff Carnell did a tremendous job in garnering a playoff spot, and it was an exciting year for them because there were a lot of nuances that obviously that had never been up for grabs before for them, and just really and truly a banner year as far as they were concerned, and that kind of got us started on the year on the right foot in the fall, and wasn't football, but it was a championship type team.
Right. And of course then we head into the winter sports and the spring sports. Basketball, 3 out of the 4 teams advanced to the playoffs.
Really competitive in basketball, Dale, and for the last couple of years we've been getting stronger and stronger. The boys team at University last year really made great strides. I think the girls team didn't make the playoffs, but they have gotten better. Both basketball teams at Waco High, John Weeks and Ross Barber, have had consistent and steady programs. All of them work very diligently. They're very consistent with their approach and very even-keeled, and it's really paid off in the gym for them.
Got some work to do in baseball. Neither of those teams made the playoffs. Softball, though, University once again had a very strong team.
They did, and one correction, Waco High did sneak into the baseball playoffs last year, right there at the end of the season, and that was a great tribute to what Coach Saul Ross did, and bringing a bunch of inexperienced players around. Didn't start off too well, but really finished strong. And you know, our motto has always been, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. and these guys did a tremendous job. And the softball team at University High, in my opinion, was as fine a team as there was in the state. And even in defeat, I think it was a one-run game. You know, it could have gone either way, but what a strong team they fielded.
My apologies to the Lion baseball team for forgetting that sneak in at the end, but track doesn't have to sneak in anywhere. We had an amazing track team at Waco High School this year, some good quality athletes also over here at University High School. But let's talk about the Waco High Lion track team, and Lady Lions for that matter, and how they did at district, especially those boys who came within an eyelash of taking the district meet from a much larger school.
No question about it. They've finished right there at the top. Of course, Will London became a household name. He is a superior quarter miler, and anything over and under he's pretty good at also. He led the Lions, who had a tremendous relay year in all three relays. We were really strong in the field events on the girls' side. Really good at the distances last year. It was just overall, of course, you know, there's 13 events in track, so you've got to cover the gamut. And if you don't win track meets. So the Lions and the Trojans, for the most part, last year fielded more kids during the track season, and entered them in more events.
Also had some success in the not-so-publicized sports later in the spring, golf, for instance.
Yes, golf had 2 qualifiers for the area golf round down in South Texas. First time we've had anybody in a good while advance beyond district. So that was very gratifying for us. And then our tennis university starts a program that had gone dormant for a few years. We resurrected that program year before last on a wait and see basis, so to speak. And then last year we joined the UIL, and lo and behold, they in both the fall and the spring they advanced beyond the district. It was quite amazing to see that.
So overall in the sports program, with the boys and girls teams at 2 high schools, you were mentioning before we started this interview, the overall success is pretty impressive.
Really was. District champions and kids that advanced beyond district. 21 of our teams out of the 32 teams that we field on a UIL basis went into what we would call postseason playoff mode, and that's about 75%. That's a pretty high percentage for a multi-school system, and we are the only multi-school system in this district. So everyone else has got the whole town coming, but of course, obviously, we have 2 schools fielding 2 teams, and that's a little bit more of a challenge.
You, of course, responsible for putting a coaching staff in place at the campuses and making sure they're quality and leading those programs. You're pretty happy with the people you have in place right now, and we'll also talk about the fact that sometimes you have to replace people because people move on, and you've been given a little more ammunition with a raise for the coaches as well. So talk about some of that.
Well, yeah, the campus coordinators who pretty much run the sports programs on their campuses, Marty Herbst at Waco High, Keith Willis here at University High, you couldn't ask for 2 finer gentlemen. And it just so happens, in my opinion, they're 2 of the more outstanding coaches in the state of Texas. The key is getting good athletes. We're not going to sit here and sugarcoat that. You've got to have athletes, and our goal is to get and keep more quality athletes in our high schools coming up through the ranks. We are going to get some help, as you mentioned. We got some raises. We're thankful to the board and the administration for that, because we're trying to keep pace and keep quality people, and you keep them if you can pay them better. We also are going to get some help in the spring with some additional monies to add some what you might term specialists. a guy that might be a pitching coach and nothing else, maybe some Major League Baseball experience, somebody like Bob Richards that can do pole vaulting and so on and so forth. So that's gonna boost our spring sports, which by and large, Dale, are not as manned as well. They're, that's in the non-revenue area of sports, so therefore our staffs aren't as large. But there's always a need for someone to come in that has expertise, and as we hire teachers throughout the district, gives us an opportunity to check the backgrounds of the people that we hire to see if there is an area that they can help us in our especially our spring sports, as I mentioned.
Of course, it's the fall time of the year. Football is king in Texas. We all know that. The Lions and Trojans working on having successful playoff seasons. But one of the things that you're trying to do right now at the Waco ISD Stadium is to really make that a fan draw, to make that a fun place on a Friday night, besides watching a football game, which you want to come and watch, but to have many, many activities going on. So talk about some of the things that you're trying to do at the stadium.
Well, you're right about that. Number one, we have the finest high school facility in this area. And obviously we have a seating capacity that will hold a large contingency. We have put a new scoreboard in, basically a giant TV that can do backflips, and we're looking for some backflips. But the thing that we want people to understand, students, parents, and citizens alike, is that this is a positive atmosphere, and whether you're a big fan or a small fan, or you like it a little bit or a whole lot, we want some enjoyment there that surrounds the game. Obviously, the game's the main event. We're wanting to do things. We started a Hall of Fame game a couple of years ago, and we decided to add a little bit of sugar to that with fastest fifth grader and our former inductees into the Hall of Fame. This year we hope to add each game a teacher of the week. We're going to have a coach of the week. We're going to have a lifetime athletic award honor each week. There are a lot of people that don't belong in the Hall of Fame that belong, that have been great for the WISD, gone on to do great things, played sports when they were in high school, and we're going to start welcoming some of these people back. In fact, we will lead that off with a former assistant principal and principal at Waco High, Bobby Jacobs, longtime Waco mainstay, Tarl Lloyd, who works as those will be the first two that we will induct into what we're going to call the Lifetime Athletic Honor Roll. And so doing those things, tailgating is going to become important. We hope to have some kid-friendly activities during the course of the year. We hope to have middle school people come to the games. We'll have some giveaways for them. We last year we allowed all our teaching staff in at no charge. So we're doing what we can to not only get people there, but to engage in some good Friday night positive fun. I can't think of a better place to be on Friday night than at WISD Stadium, and enjoying a glass of Bush's tea and maybe a few tenders, and then enjoying the ball game.
Well, we need to give Keith Bush a little bit of a plug, because Keith was instrumental in helping us get that scoreboard.
Very much so, very much so. And our relationship with Bush's Chicken this past year, being their first full-time year, has just been outstanding. They're very happy to be a part of our family, and we're certainly excited that they decided to join ranks with us.
Okay, let's talk about building an athletic program at the high school level. It starts down in the 7th grade, basically.
It really does, and that's been That's been an area of concern for me coming aboard. I think that we have 4 middle schools. We're trying to create some consistency in those 4 middle schools. We're trying to get the working conditions better to hang on to and hire quality middle school coaches. That's not the easiest coaching job in the world when you're starting a youngster that may have never played before. So it takes a great deal of patience and expertise and simplicity, if I might add, to build the trust, to build the confidence, and to build that young person who is neither a little kid anymore or a big kid. And that's a getting on, getting off age, and we're wanting more of them to be involved in athletics. It's a proven fact, Dale, that kids that are involved do much better in school. They're much less likely to be in trouble, more likely to go on to higher education, less referred to the principal's office. There's just a plethora of positives that come from participation.
Talking again about the middle schools, how important is it, especially in football, or for that matter, any sport, for the 7th and 8th grader to have the same maybe terminology that they'll hear as they become freshmen and on through high school, to make it a smooth transition so that they're not total strangers when they get to be high schoolers?
Well, if you put that into another arena, let's talk about reading. Okay. And if I read Johnny Jump in the 1st grade and I add a horse to it and then I add a wagon to it, by the 3rd grade I know all about Johnny. And the same with sports. If you and I can speak the same language, because each sport has a language of its own. There's over 1,300 schools in Texas that play football, and I would imagine there's 1,300 systems. And that's the beauty of it. But the need in the middle schools is for me to begin to understand whether it be a color system or a name system or a numbering system, that I understand the concept, and that becomes second nature to me. If I say 46 or I say Illinois, Wisconsin, whatever, that's got to mean something to me. And the more that I hear that, then the less I have to think and the more I can use my ability as an athlete. So it's important that we have that linear growth from the 7th grade on up for our young athletes. And as you mentioned, in any sport, every sport has their own terminology, and you may see something on TV that you call a sweep, and there may be 19 different names for that in different systems. And it's important for us to get into the middle schools, and our coaches are doing a good job of trying to oversee them, and hopefully we'll start seeing some results here pretty soon.
Let's shift gears just a moment and talk about facilities, because facilities are awfully important in the arena of sports. If you happen to drive by Waco ISD Stadium, I'm seeing a really nice looking parking lot being resurfaced. That's one improvement, and that's one of many. So if you can touch on some of the things that have been happening throughout the summer.
Well, as you know, Dale, our facilities are the window to the rest of the state. People that come into town here usually come in to view sporting events. So it's important that we have first-class facilities, because if you can't do it right, then you're just you're not putting your best foot forward. So we've tried at the stadium to make that a first-class facility, which give Jack Stanley and our maintenance people credit for the work they've done out there, because it's been nothing short of spectacular. The parking lot obviously is an asphalt parking lot. The stadium is now 15 years old, and we were in need of a facelift there. Cracks began to come into asphalt because of the heat, the wear and tear, and so we've got some total refurbishing going on out there. It's going on as we speak. We have upgraded our baseball and softball fields considerably. put sound systems in, put a roof over the baseball field behind home plate so that we can give some shaded areas to our fans. And you know, we lost over 100 games in baseball and softball this year due to the weather. But later on when things dried out in June, we were able to attract some really big playoff games from the area. And quite frankly, Dale, some of the biggest games we get are from some of the smaller towns in the area because they turn out en masse to these games, and you know, it's a turn out the light type thing. We've redone our tracks. They were in pitiful shape. We haven't been able to have a track meet here on any of our facilities because of the poor condition. So hopefully we can start the Waco relays back up, the Nathaniel Haynes, Heart of Texas relays. All three of our Chavez, Tennyson, and Carver all have newly resurfaced tracks. We hope to, in the future, get some more artificial surfaces on either our baseball or softball fields. We're in desperate need of indoor practice facilities, and these are things that are on my wish list to get done, hopefully in the near future. And if we can do that and give our young student athletes the same footing as the people they compete with, then I think that's all you can ask for. We don't necessarily want to be ahead, but we certainly don't want to be behind.
Right. Speaking of those tracks and practice fields, we had an unfortunate event with the sinkhole at Indian Spring, but that's being rectified, and that'll be back in action this fall for the players over there.
Should be. We visited with the city a couple of weeks ago, had a meeting there, and they tell us that they're going to be ready to go by August the 15th. That we will be able to once again practice out there and have a workout track there. That is an asphalt track, also a new facility. So that was good news for us because we displaced so many of those young people last year. It's just hard to keep continuity with young people when you're busing them here and there, and so this will be a big boost for us.
You touched on this a moment ago, but let's touch on it one more time, the value of the sports arena for kids. In other words, it's a draw to get them here, to be involved. Every time you hosted one of your football banquets, you always cited the fact of A averages, B+ averages among your football players, and it's just, sports is important.
It is important. I don't know that you can put any type of price tag on a kid's involvement. You know, it's been talked about quite often. I heard Coach Taft talk about this on numerous occasions. Every person is like a three-legged stool. You've got to sharpen the mind, the body, and spirit. If any one of those legs is short of the other, the stool tips over. And I think that's where sports comes in. It's the ultimate outdoor classroom. There is no question about it, because you get all three out there. You get the mind, body, and spirit. The value of sports, and you can look in any occupation that you want to in the country, but people are hungry to hire people who know about competition, who have competed and done things. And as I mentioned earlier, Dale, 2 to 1 people that are involved do much better academically than those that don't. 2 to 1, they're less likely to be in trouble. And one of the things you have when you have a kid involved in extracurricular sports is you have the academic side, and the coach becomes the athletic side, and the kid doesn't have much. He doesn't have much room to wiggle in there because he's being watched on both ends, and to a teenager, that's really important, because those are the years that you got to really work at having them grow. If you take any ball, Dale, of any shape or form, that ball is nothing more than a tool to raise a young person into the kind of citizen that you want them to be in, and that's a very important tool in the raising of children. So we hope to do that better. We hope to do it more often, we hope to do it with class.
Very well said. Thank you, sir. As I mentioned, we're here at University High School. The band is in the hallway right now. They're about to break out into the fight song. I'm ready for some football, Coach.
Hey, I'm ready to get up and do a cheer or something here.
Very good. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for watching Know Your Schools on WISD TV. My name is Dale Caffey. This is Coach Johnny Tusa, and we'll see you next time.